Hello guys, welcome again to the Black Horse Tech channel. So I'm dropping a short, quick video about the launch of the 7000 series graphics cards from AMD. So this is just an unboxing embargo lift, let's say, from AMD. So today, the 8th of December 2022, as you can see, so I have here two videos I want to show you. I want to comment on a little bit. So this is from Kyle from Bitwit's channel. It's He's one of the funniest, let's say, in the industry, and I really like his videos. Please go subscribe to his channel, and he drops some very cool stuff. This is Linus from ShortCircuit. He doesn't need any introduction. The biggest channel in the industry, the tech industry, let's say, on YouTube. So I'm just going to jump on this, and let's go see this together. I didn't see much of it, so just to have the surprise effect, let's go.
One letter makes. Obviously, I can't really tell you guys much in this video that you don't already know because this is just an unboxing embargo, but I will do my best to show you guys the cards up close and personal. Let's start since we're doing this. Power efficiency, super architecture. This is a nice card. And it's got better ray tracing performance, allegedly. That'll be tested as well. Ooh, this is a nice card. It's got those second gen RT accelerators on board of that new architecture. So here's the card. What a beauty this is. I did see this up close when I was at the press event earlier this year, but man, having it actually in my hands and stuff, it's pretty solid card. And I love the fact that it's normal size. It's not gargantuan like the RTX 40 series that we've seen so far, at least the Founders Edition and the aftermarket cards. And you know what? Oh my gosh, look at that. There's no adapter. There's no crappy gonna melt your whole house down adapter in here. It just has normal 8-pin PCIe plugs. I never thought I'd be so stoked to see these connectors on a graphics card again. We have a triple fan design here. I also love the fact that they actually painted the aluminum fin stack. I think it just makes it super sleek and stealthy. We also have a plastic shroud. I'll admit the RTX 40 series Founders Edition cards feel just slightly more premium than this card. Not to say that this card's bad by any stretch. Like, the quality here is top notch. This is 100% quality. I just say the FE cards from NVIDIA are
Because for me,
I think it's maybe because
I prefer this
the heatsink is just so big and bulky, but it's sturdy.
Design from NVIDIA is like a bit wonky, a bit weird, like asymmetric. Two fans facing like one other on each side of the GPU, which is a bit asymmetric. A little bit clashes. I don't know, this is subjective, so yeah, whatever you guys think, I think maybe you can see for yourself.
Two different, but then we also saw a graphics card just like the 40 series, and we also have actually improved display outs. So we actually have HDMI 2.1a, which isn't too different, but then we also have DisplayPort 2.0, which is going to let us do 4K at 480 hertz or 8K at 165 hertz versus DisplayPort 1.4a that's on the RTX 40 series.
So we don't have the screens yet, so there is no TV that can go that high, from my knowledge, and we will see if the HDMI cables can keep up with that, because the bandwidth is up there. So the current gen of HDMI cables, I don't think it's powerful, or let's say it has the necessary bandwidth for that. So let's see.
8K at 60 hertz. Obviously 8K is still a very niche market for gamers, but 4K is becoming increasingly popular, and it's just really impressive that this card can allow you to hit literally 4 times the refresh rate on your display than an RTX 4090, simply because of that new display port. Other fun facts about the 7900 XT is that we have 84 compute units on board, along with 20 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory on a 320-bit bus, and that's at 20 gigabits per second, giving us a total of roughly 2,900 gigabytes a second of bandwidth. Only takes a 750 watt power supply to run this thing. Also very nice, definitely a tip of the hat to the power efficiency of that RDNA 3.0 architecture at work. Taller, height-wise, and maybe 1 to 2 centimeters, a little chunkier. It's just a little chunkier. It's about a centimeter to a centimeter and a half taller, height-wise, and maybe 1 to 2 centimeters longer. Not too different.
The fans, sorry, remind me of the Asus. I don't know the exact marketing buzzword, but it looks really close to what Sapphire and Asus are doing. Like there is a ring around the fans, which maybe will help with vortex or something to direct the airflow more precisely, but maybe it's just marketing or just to make it look sleeker.
It's just ever so slightly larger. Let's see, we still have two dual 8-pin PCI power connectors. We're keeping the same 3 fans, which look the same size as well, I believe. Yes, same exact size fans, triple design, and then we have a little bit of plastic accents around this middle fan, which we don't have on.
I think those translucent plastics, let's see here, this area could be some RGB lighting in my opinion, plus the Radeon logo of course, which looks really translucent and light permissive. So I think this is going to be an RGB light strip, let's say. Plus here on the bigger card, the XTX card, it's here like an X going through the middle fan, as you can see here. So overall, the design looks sleek. Let's see what Linus have to say about this.
Go. Not only are these cards delivering up to in the range of 70% better performance than last time around, but look at this. They come in downright. If you can get them out of the damn box, they come in downright
Don't drop it, please, Linus.
reasonable form factors. Wait, is this? No, this is only the XT. This is only the XT. Maybe the XTX is an absolute chungus monster, but this is totally fine. Here, hold on a second. I'm gonna tell you more about it in a minute. But first, let's pull out an RTX 4080 for comparison. What the heck? I think it's fair to say that the 7900 XT has more in common physically with an RTX.
Wow, the difference is night and day here. As you can see, these cars look like baby cars. Like they almost look like the difference between a normal like gaming GPU, let's say the 66 or 6700 XE or something, and GT 710 or 720 or whatever, like basic GPUs. Oh man, this is comical. That's
RTX 2060 card than the 4080. Look at that. Is that wild or what? How did they do that? Well, for one thing, it's rumored that the RTX 4080 and 4090 were supposed to be even power hungrier than they ended up being, which might be why the coolers for them are so overbuilt for their final TDPs.
so exactly. Nvidia did over-engineer the thermal solution around the GPUs, the 4000 GPUs of cards, and this shows. As you can see, I think something like this, the 7000 GPUs with this compact, somewhat contained thermal solution looks better and will mostly fit into most of the cases compared to that awful 4000 series. Plus, you know, like the controversy around the 12 pin cables and the adapters and stuff. So I think this will be a compelling offering from AMD. Let's not get too hyped here. I prefer to see the benchmarks from the reliable media out there. Sorry, before jumping on the hype bandwagon if I was you. So don't pre-order yet until things get clearer. So real benchmarks done by third parties before buying anything.
The other reason is that, as I just alluded to, AMD's power consumption for these cards is, to be clear, very high at 300 and 355 watts.
So compared to the last generation, let's say, or the current generation, which is the 600 RX 600 series, it's not that big of a jump to say, because I think the 6900 XT and the 6950 XT are fairly power hungry. They they can go over the 300 watts TDP, and it's it have been like normal up until now. So I don't know where this comes from. Like this uh people being baffled a little bit about the 300 TDP mark, which was like the ballpark, sorry, for the highest of high-end GPUs until now. So if you see the last generation from AMD, be it or Nvidia, we have always seen 250 watts to 300, or maybe sometimes 350 watts consistently. So this is not something new to say.
For the XT and the XTX respectively, but that's still within the range of what you can do in a dual slot, ooh, not quite dual slot, almost dual slot, but only full height card design. That's one of the really big ones, how much taller cards have gotten over the last little while. Aside from their performance claims though, one of AMD's biggest marketing points for the 7000 series is the improvements to performance per watt that they've made with RDNA 3. And they've done this in a number of kind of cool ways. So first of all, they're using a combination of TSMC's 5nm and 6nm processes to build.
So the 5nm is what you see here, the biggest square, let's say, in the middle. And the 6nm is everything, the smaller chiplets, let's say, that are on each side of it. So these are memory chiplets, and the biggest chip in the middle, this is the core of the graphics card.
The first ever chiplet GPU. There are some functions that they can't move off of the main die, like compute hardware, graphics hardware, and display and media engines. That main die is built on TSMC's 5nm process, so they can pack as much as possible in, and they really did. I mean, this thing's got literally twice as many stream
So this is what I was saying, basically. Let's jump a little bit and see.
Or 6 MCDs or memory cache dies.
So,
and
as I was saying, this is the smaller chiplets, which are the memory cache dies. As you can see here, each one have a 64-bit memory controller. So 64 times 6, because we have 6 for the XTX and only 5, so 1 will be missing for, or disabled, let's say, for the XT version.
Reasons for this are twofold. One is to save cost, and two is to, well, mostly save cost, because apparently these functions don't really shrink that well, so it just wasn't worth it from a cost perspective. So that's the main reason, I guess. Either way, the bandwidth between the GCDs, that's the main one, and the MCDs is a whopping, what is this? 5.3 terabytes a second. So that's 900 gigs a second per MCD.
So here let's clear out the comparison here, because as you can see, the GDDR6 memory itself isn't far off from the last generation. It's not a big jump per se, but what is a big jump here is the infinity cache, like the game cache. Let's say that AMD was boasting about all over the media in for the 6000 series. So this, as you can see, is, let's say, 2.7 times more, but uh, this is including the small tiny jump in GTR. So let's be clear here. So this, the bigger jump, let's say, so if we can compare this to this, yeah, this is really substantial. But this is only the infinity cache, which does not hold that much data, even though it can move 5.3 terabytes per second, but it does not hold that much because it's only about 90 megabytes. The GDDR, which is like the bulk of the memory that the GPU uses to store assets and stuff like that. So this is not as big of a jump compared to the 6000 series. Just please put that in your mind, as this is just some marketing from AMD that can be a little bit misleading, let's say. So we have to be careful about this.
Absolutely flippin' wild. One of the other big innovations that AMD has introduced to improve performance per watt is decoupled clock speeds. So they are apparently...
So this was a thing before. So NVIDIA did that. I have been in the industry for quite a while, so about 20 years now, and I have seen before that, before unifying the shader and the front end clocks, NVIDIA did something similar, which had like shader clocks separated from the main clocks of the GPU. So here, this is something I would say unusual, because unifying was done to streamline and make things easier and simpler to do in the backend. So CPU uh, CPU load will be less because it's calculating less as before compared to before, sorry. If you have two separate clocks, that can introduce some instability in some scenarios. So if the game is not really optimized for this, older games, games that are not supported anymore, which is a lot of them, it can introduce some CPU overhead, which will make the CPU work a little bit harder than it should be, because it's like calculating for two different speeds of the GPU, let's say. So we will see how this will work in real life and in benchmarks, but for me it's a little bit odd that AMD have done this, but time will tell if that was the right move to do.
running the shaders and the front end on these GPUs at different speeds. So the shaders are advertised at a game clock of 2.3 gigahertz, while the front end is expected to hit in the neighborhood of 2.5. Is that for both cards?
So guys, this is for the XTX, and for the XT, let's see.
So the XT is in the even 2.4.
So for the XT, these are the numbers if you you want to pause and check.
Gigahertz range. The reason for doing a little bit off of that voltage per frequency curve, you can save a ton of power without giving up too much in terms of performance. AMD has also added dedicated AI accelerators to these cards. So we're looking at 2 AI accelerators per compute unit, but what exactly they're going to be using these for is not clear at this time.
Yeah, exactly. So I was going to say that because AI have been used by NVIDIA to like work around uh, or work with their DLSS, let's say. So if if AMD, sorry, will work with the same principle, like using AI to upscale and make the picture look as close to native as possible, without losing too much uh, graphical fidelity or introducing too much impurities in the image. Let's say this will be very very cool, but again, time will tell about this technology and if it's the right move.
To date, AMD does not have an AI accelerated DLSS competitor, but I would imagine that something like that wouldn't be too far behind if they're putting the hardware out for them. AMD does have a pretty okay reputation for there's sort of 2 ways to look at this. Not having fully developed drivers at launch, or glass half full way of looking at it, really squeezing extra out of their
Yeah. So uh, this have been more true about AMD than Nvidia, sadly. But let's say that I had a lot of Nvidia GPUs in my life, and sometimes the GPUs, the drivers, sorry, are just borked and will break stuff and break games, or even sometimes like um, make your GPU slower in certain instances. So here, what Linus is saying is true, but it's not only AMD that is like uh, doing this. Sometimes Nvidia launches something with less than stellar GPU drivers and just will iron it out bit by bit. I don't have real examples. Maybe the GTX 970, which has like uh, 3.5 real VRAM instead of 4, which NVIDIA had to launch new drivers for to make it work better with certain games. So here I think we have seen everything we had to see. So the cards look really really good, guys, and we are hopeful that this will launch like a new wave of interest in AMD GPUs, because up until now GPU market have been like fairly uh, positive for Nvidia and less rosy for AMD and Intel. So let's hope this makes the odds even out a little bit and make the public go more towards AMD. Thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.